Emotional discipline in love. 8 Stoic teachings that save relationships. You will never have peace in your relationship until you find peace within yourself. That truth hits hard, doesn't it? Because when it comes to love, too many people believe the myth that peace comes from finding the right person. But what if I told you that the person you need to find first is yourself? Let me ask you something bold and honest. Have you ever felt like love made you lose control of your emotions? Like one wrong word from your partner could ruin your entire day. Like you're walking on eggshells trying to keep the peace, but deep down you're exhausted, overwhelmed, and emotionally drained? That's not love. That's emotional chaos. And you're not weak for feeling this way. You're human. You're wired to love deeply. But here's the truth no one tells you. Real love, fulfilling, peaceful, strong love, doesn't require you to lose your mind, your peace, or your identity. It requires emotional discipline, not control over your partner. Control over yourself, control over your thoughts, your reactions, your internal world. That's what the ancient Stoics mastered. In a world full of ghosting, gaslighting, and emotional volatility, their wisdom is more powerful than ever. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who ruled not only an empire, but his own mind, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That one sentence is a compass for love. Because in relationships, we spend too much time trying to change the other person. We want them to say the right thing, show up the right way, love us perfectly, text us back faster, reassure us more. But Stoicism teaches a different path, one that leads to real peace. It teaches that the only thing you can control is you, your thoughts, your responses, your emotions, your standards. And when you learn to control these things, to remain calm in chaos, to hold your value even when someone forgets it, to walk away when your soul is being drained, you become powerful in love. Not because you dominate, but because you don't crumble. Stoicism is not about becoming cold. It's about becoming unshakable. It's not about caring less. It's about caring smarter, with boundaries, with dignity, with clarity. So in this video, we're diving into 8 Stoic teachings that will help you master emotional discipline in your relationships. Whether you're single, dating, married, or healing from something that broke you, these principles will help you stand tall, stay grounded, and build the kind of love that doesn't cost you your peace. If you're ready to stop being ruled by emotions and start ruling them, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments right now. I control my emotions. They don't control me. That's your first step toward emotional freedom. That's your declaration of power. Now let's get into it, because emotional discipline doesn't just save relationships, it saves you. Number 1, accept what you cannot control. In love, one of the hardest yet most liberating truths you'll ever face is this. You cannot control anyone but yourself. You can't control how someone loves you, how they show up, or whether they stay or leave. And that's not a weakness, that's freedom. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology ever put it into words. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic minds, laid it out simply and powerfully when he said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." If there's one mantra you carry into every relationship, let it be that. Because the moment you try to control another person, their feelings, their behavior, their past, their reactions, is the moment you lose control of yourself. And losing yourself in love is not noble, it's self-abandonment. We've been taught that love is sacrifice, that if you just give more, compromise more, chase harder, then maybe it'll work out. But that's not love, that's attachment to outcome. That's fear wearing the mask of romance. Emotional discipline begins with surrender. Not surrender to someone else's chaos, but surrender to reality, to truth. You cannot force someone to treat you right. You cannot manipulate someone into valuing you. You cannot beg your way into worth, and you shouldn't have to. When you accept what is out of your hands, you make room to strengthen what is in your hands. Your reactions, your emotions, your boundaries, your inner peace. That's where your power lives. That's where your freedom begins. Because when you stop trying to control their story, you start rewriting your own. You become less reactive, more centered, less needy, more grounded. You start attracting people who are drawn to your peace, not your pain. The emotional chaos that used to define your relationship starts to fade, and you become a safe space for yourself. You become someone who can weather disappointment without collapsing, someone who can love deeply without losing direction, and someone who can walk away, not with bitterness, but with self-respect. This is the core of Stoic love. You don't own people. You experience them. You don't cling to their presence. You appreciate their essence. And if they go, you let them. Not because you didn't care, but because you care about yourself too. The anxious need to fix, force, or chase fades when you realize peace isn't something another person gives you. It's something you cultivate within, and that's what makes you powerful. So if you're ready to shift from control to calm, I want you to type this in the comments right now. Let it be your anchor, your reminder, your power. I accept what I cannot control and master what I can. That's how emotional discipline begins. That's how peace begins. Number 2, respond, don't react. When emotions run high in a relationship, it's easy to let your impulses take the wheel. You get hurt, so you lash out. You feel ignored, so you go silent. You feel threatened, so you accuse. But none of those reactions bring real peace. They just create more chaos. The Stoics didn't shy away from emotions. They mastered them. And one of the most powerful lessons they offer us is this: respond, don't react. Reactions are instant, emotional, and usually fueled by pain or fear. Responses are intentional, conscious, and rooted in self-control. Seneca once said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." In love, adversity is your opportunity. Your partner may frustrate you, misunderstand you, even disappoint you. But that moment of emotional challenge, that's your test. Not to dominate them, not to punish them, but to rise above your lower nature and choose the higher road. That's emotional discipline. That's love with strength. Reacting with anger may feel satisfying in the moment, but it leaves scars. It says, "I am controlled by what hurts me." Responding, on the other hand, says, "I am in control of me, no matter what you do." This doesn't mean suppressing how you feel. It means slowing down enough to understand why you feel it and choosing a response that serves your values, not just your emotions. When your partner says something hurtful, pause. When you feel that jealousy boiling up, breathe. When you want to storm out or shut down, reflect. Ask yourself, is what I'm about to do healing or harming the connection? Is it coming from strength or insecurity? Is it rooted in self-awareness or ego? This pause, this moment of reflection, is where real power lives. You begin to break the cycle of emotional warfare and create a new pattern, one of conscious love, one where communication replaces explosions, understanding replaces blame, calm replaces chaos, and maturity replaces drama. People often think Stoicism is cold, but it's the opposite. It's passion with purpose, emotion with direction, love with clarity. And it all starts with choosing to respond instead of react. So if you're ready to stop being at the mercy of your emotions and start leading with emotional strength, drop this affirmation in the comments right now. I respond with wisdom, not impulse. Let that be your guide. Let that be your practice. Because when you learn to hold your peace instead of throwing your pain, you become unshakable, and your love becomes deeper than ever before. Number 3, love without losing yourself. When you love someone deeply, it's easy to let their world become your world. Their needs come first. Their opinions start to matter more than your own. Slowly, without even noticing, you begin to shrink. You sacrifice your hobbies, your dreams, your boundaries, and call it love. But that isn't love. That's losing yourself. That's giving up your identity for the illusion of connection. True connection, as the Stoics understood, begins with the self. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your thoughts are constantly wrapped around someone else, worrying about their approval, obsessed with keeping them happy, fearful of losing them, then what color does your soul take on? Their color, not yours. And when you forget your own color, your own essence, your own needs, you disappear. That's not romantic. That's a tragedy. Loving someone doesn't mean becoming invisible. It means standing beside them, not beneath them. A relationship isn't about finding your other half. You're already whole. You don't complete each other. You complement each other. That's the Stoic truth. Love should never cost you your core. In fact, love should amplify it. Self-respect is the foundation of emotional discipline. When you respect yourself, you hold on to your passions. You still go to the gym, paint, write, hike. Whatever fills your soul. When you respect yourself, you speak up. You don't just nod along to avoid arguments. You share your truth. When you respect yourself, you don't wait for permission to be happy. You choose it daily, independently. This doesn't make you selfish. It makes you solid. Because the greatest gift you can offer in love is not a broken version of yourself trying to please someone. It's your full, authentic self. Bold, honest, alive. The Stoics didn't teach us to isolate or harden. They taught us to be whole within ourselves, so we can love with strength, not fear. They taught us that a person who knows their worth will never beg to be seen. So don't apologize for needing space. Don't feel guilty for saying no. Don't abandon yourself just to keep someone else comfortable. Keep your passions alive. Let your voice be heard. Own your presence. And most of all, remember that you are not defined by who loves you. You are defined by how deeply you love yourself. So if you're ready to stop fading and start standing in your own light, drop this affirmation in the comments right now. I do not lose myself in love. I find more of me. That's your power. That's your peace. And that's the kind of love that lasts, because it's rooted in self. Number 4, practice voluntary discomfort. When we think of love, we often imagine comfort, warmth, closeness, safety. But what happens when love doesn't feel so safe? When there's silence, distance, or conflict? Most people panic. They cling. They overthink. They spiral. But the Stoics had a practice for this: voluntary discomfort. And while it might sound cold or even harsh, it's actually one of the most powerful tools for emotional resilience, especially in relationships. Voluntary discomfort is the act of choosing discomfort in controlled ways so that you're better prepared for the chaos life might throw at you. The Stoics fasted, walked barefoot, slept without comfort, not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they knew that hardship reveals your inner strength. Seneca practiced this regularly and wrote, "It is not that we are given a short life, but we make it short by wasting time." And you know what wastes the most time in relationships? Emotional chaos. Arguments that go in circles. Waiting for validation. Trying to read someone's mind. Acting from fear instead of wisdom. In love, voluntary discomfort means learning to stay still when your emotions beg you to react. It means sitting with the discomfort of silence without chasing. It means giving space when it hurts and trusting yourself not to break. It's about not needing constant reassurance to feel secure. That is true emotional power. Can you hold your dignity when they pull away? Can you continue to act with love even when you feel ignored? Can you keep showing up for yourself when they stop showing up for you? This isn't weakness. This is training. And just like a muscle, emotional discipline only grows when tested. But if you never train yourself to be uncomfortable, the smallest emotional storm will break you. That's where most relationships fall apart. We expect smooth seas. We forget to prepare for the waves. But the Stoic heart doesn't run from the waves. It becomes the anchor. This doesn't mean tolerating abuse or disrespect. It means being able to hold your emotional ground, to remain kind, present, and thoughtful even when it's hard. That's what separates temporary love from unshakable love. You can't control whether someone pulls back, but you can control how centered you remain in response. So today, instead of panicking when things feel uncertain, pause, take a breath, practice that discomfort. Let it strengthen you. Let it teach you patience. Let it build your peace. Drop this in the comments if you're ready to train your emotional strength like a true Stoic. I grow through discomfort. not destruction. Because real love doesn't come from comfort alone, it comes from character. Number 5, don't chase, stand still in your value. In love, one of the most painful traps you can fall into is the endless chase. Chasing someone who's distant, chasing their validation, chasing the version of them you wish existed. But here's the hard truth. The moment you start chasing, you're stepping away from your own value. You're telling the world, Wani and yourself, that you are incomplete without their attention. And that could not be further from the truth. The Stoics understood something powerful. Worth isn't proven through pursuit. It's demonstrated through presence, through standing tall in your own character, your own dignity, your own peace. Marcus Aurelius didn't say, convince others to love you. He said, yes, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. In other words, be love, be strength, be virtue. You don't need to convince anyone when you are deeply anchored in your own self-worth. When you chase someone, you place them above yourself. You abandon your center to orbit around theirs. And in doing so, you lose the very thing that made you powerful, your groundedness. But when you stand still, when you refuse to beg, to plead, to diminish yourself, you communicate something loud and clear without saying a word. I am enough with or without you. Chasing love leads to exhaustion, confusion, and resentment. Standing still in your value leads to peace, clarity, and the right kind of connection, the kind that chooses you without having to be convinced. Imagine this. 2 people meet, one is desperate to be chosen, the other is rooted, strong, whole. Who draws more respect? Who inspires admiration? Who creates lasting, healthy bonds? The one who knows their worth and stands by it. And that is the art of emotional discipline. You resist the urge to chase what is running away. You resist the urge to force what should flow naturally. You refuse to beg for crumbs when you deserve a feast. If someone needs convincing to see your value, they are not your person. Love doesn't require a sales pitch. Real connection meets you where you are, and it stays because it recognizes your light, not because you scream to be seen. So the next time you feel that urge to chase, to send another desperate message, to make another excuse for them, to shrink your needs just to keep them around, pause. Remember who you are. Remember what you bring to the table, and stand still in that power. Trust me, those who are meant for you will recognize your value without you having to run after them. And those who don't, let them walk. Your energy is too sacred to waste on convincing. Drop this in the comments if you're done chasing and ready to stand in your true worth. I do not chase love, I attract it by being whole. Because true love isn't about chasing someone else. It's about meeting someone who runs toward you, because they recognize the rare, unwavering power you hold within. Number 6, use logic to ground emotion. Love is emotional. There's no denying it. But letting emotions drive every action without logic is a recipe for chaos. Stoicism teaches us not to suppress emotions, but to guide them, to let reason lead where impulse would crash. Marcus Aurelius himself wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." That's powerful. It reminds us that our feelings are often not about what's happening, but about how we're interpreting what's happening. Picture this. Your partner doesn't reply to a message for hours. Instantly, the mind races. Are they ignoring me? Did I do something wrong? Are they losing interest? And suddenly you're spiraling. But if you pause and ask yourself, what do I actually know to be true? The panic softens. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they're dealing with something personal. Maybe it's nothing at all. Logic is not coldness, it's protection. It guards you from creating pain out of thin air. Before reacting emotionally, pause and reflect. What are the facts? What assumptions am I making? Is my fear bigger than reality? This simple check-in can save relationships and your peace of mind. The Stoics journaled not to deny their emotions, but to understand them. Marcus Aurelius didn't write to numb himself. He wrote to dissect his fears, doubts, and anger, turning them into wisdom. You can do the same. When emotions swell up, Open a journal, pour it out. Then read your words with a rational mind and separate fact from fiction. Grounding your emotion with logic also teaches emotional independence. You stop needing constant reassurance from others because you can reassure yourself with truth. Instead of reacting wildly, you respond with calm understanding. That's real strength. That's emotional discipline. And listen, leading with logic doesn't mean you love any less. It means you love smarter. You can still feel deeply, but you won't let temporary feelings ruin something beautiful or prolong something toxic. When you master this balance, emotions guided by reason, you become unshakable. You can love freely without becoming a prisoner to your fears, doubts, or insecurities. You stop creating mountains out of molehills and start seeing your relationship through a lens of clarity instead of confusion. So next time you feel that flood of anxiety, jealousy, or anger, do what Marcus would do. Write it out, analyze it, and remind yourself that you are stronger than your first reaction. Drop this affirmation in the comments if you're ready to guide your heart with wisdom. I guide my emotions with logic and clarity. Because real love isn't blind. Real love sees clearly and still chooses to stay kind, calm, and confident. Number 7, focus on virtue, not validation. Why do we seek love so desperately? Why do we ache for someone's attention, approval, or affection? Often it's not about love itself. It's about validation. We want to feel enough, wanted, chosen, seen. But here's the hard truth Stoicism teaches us. When your worth depends on someone else's approval, you surrender your power. Seneca once said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Love will test you. Relationships will challenge you. The friction you feel, the conflict, the insecurity, the fear, it's not meant to break you. It's meant to polish you, to reveal your true strength, character, and resilience. If you make love about gaining validation, you will forever be at the mercy of another person's moods, choices, and attention. One day they adore you, you feel high. The next day they're distant, you feel worthless. This is emotional slavery. The Stoics teach us to flip the script. Don't chase being loved. Chase being virtuous. Chase becoming the highest version of yourself. Kind, wise, patient, brave, loving, strong. No matter how others treat you. In love, stop asking, do they still love me? Am I enough for them? What do they think of me? And start asking, am I proud of who I am in this relationship? Am I staying true to my values? Am I practicing patience, courage, honesty, and dignity? This mindset shift is life-changing. When love becomes about your growth, not their approval, you never lose. Even if the relationship ends, you come out better, stronger, more aware. You don't lose yourself trying to win their affection. You build yourself into someone who doesn't need external applause to feel worthy. Because here's the deepest truth. You are already enough. Your soul was never meant to beg for validation. It was meant to radiate from within. True love, real, powerful love, isn't about finding someone who completes you. It's about finding someone who appreciates your completeness. And until you realize you are whole on your own, you'll always feel half, no matter who you're with. Focus on virtue. Focus on growth. Focus on becoming someone you are proud of, not someone desperate for temporary approval. When you do this, you'll attract different people. People who see your worth because you see it first. People who value your strength because you embody it. People who are drawn to your light because you no longer hide it for fear of being too much. Drop this affirmation in the comments if you're ready to stop seeking validation and start embodying virtue. I focus on being virtuous, not validated. Because your worth is not a question mark someone else gets to answer. Your worth is a fire that you fuel every single day by the way you show up for yourself. Number 8, embrace every ending as a new beginning. In love and in life, the greatest power you can develop is the ability to embrace every ending without losing yourself. Not every relationship is meant to last forever. Not every person who enters your life is meant to stay. Some people come into your life to teach you something your soul couldn't learn any other way. The ancient Stoics understood this. They knew that pain, loss, and change were not punishments. They were part of the path to wisdom and greatness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacle is not the end. The heartbreak is not the end. The betrayal is not the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter, the one where you rise." When a relationship ends, your instinct may be to resist, to beg, to cling, to believe that happiness lived only in what you just lost. But that's an illusion. Real strength is found when you release what is no longer meant for you. Real growth is born when you choose trust over resistance. If they walk away, let them. If the relationship crumbles, bless it for what it taught you and move forward. If your heart shatters, gather the pieces because you're about to rebuild yourself stronger than ever. Every ending is secretly a beginning. Every heartbreak clears space for self-love. Every betrayal sharpens your vision of what you truly deserve. You are not a victim of what happens to you. You are a warrior being shaped by it. Stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "How is this shaping me for what's next?" This shift will change your life. Heartbreak isn't a dead end, it's a doorway. Loss isn't a punishment, it's a redirection. Pain isn't your enemy, it's your sculptor. When you embrace every ending as a new beginning, you become unstoppable. You stop needing life to go your way and start trusting that life is always leading you exactly where you are meant to be. Drop this affirmation in the comments if you're ready to trust the endings and the new beginnings they bring. Everything that leaves my life makes space for something greater. Remember, you are bigger than any breakup, stronger than any betrayal, wiser because of every goodbye. Your next chapter is waiting. Walk into it with your head high, your heart open, and your spirit unbreakable. If you made it to this point, you're already showing emotional strength. Because let's be honest, most people don't want to hear that love takes discipline. They want the fairy tale, not the fire. But Stoic love is the strongest kind, not because it doesn't feel, but because it refuses to be ruled by emotion alone. You are not weak for loving deeply. You are only weak when you abandon yourself in the process. Let this video be your reminder. Emotional discipline is not about becoming cold. It's about becoming unshakable. The calmest person in the relationship is the one with the power to heal or destroy it. Be the calm, be the wisdom, be the steady hand in a shaking world. And most importantly, be someone who loves with strength, not desperation. Drop your favorite affirmation from this video in the comments. Write it, feel it, live it. If you found power in these teachings, do not leave without subscribing. Hit that bell, because your journey to self-mastery and love is just beginning. Until next time, stay grounded, stay powerful, and never forget, real love begins with you.